What's up, y'all? It's your boy TJ, and I am bringing to you a new series on this channel called What's Your Story? I will be interviewing local entrepreneurs / content creators to get their perspective on what it's like to own a business. Now, I have a very special guest with me. He is one of my greatest friends, the one and only Mr. Cedrick Turner. Introduce yourself, tell people who you are and what do you do.
So first of all, I'm a Memphis native, born and raised. I own 3 businesses, but the one that he most knows about is the Stellar 19 Foundation. It's a nonprofit here in Memphis, Tennessee. And I also serve as a math educator in the community as well.
All right, that sounds pretty good. So describe to me, what led to the creation of the Stellar 19 Foundation?
It's funny because I actually had some very interesting experiences, in school, and over time it just got to a point where I said I wanted to redevelop what it means to be stellar, what it means for a student to be a star in their own life. A lot of schools now try to push students to be college educated, just educated in general, but we know that education happens beyond the 4 walls of a classroom. We know that to be educated, for one to be educated, it can happen whether in college, outside of college. That's why you have careers. That's why you have other opportunities. But we must make sure that we speak to every opportunity. Every opportunity should establish its validation. And for me, and this goes back to the first question you asked, one of the central reasons I started the Stellar 19 Foundation was because when it came to college readiness, what that looks like is altogether different with students across the board. You have things that hinder us like standardized testing, funding, what colleges in the area that you want to go to that have the best law schools, the best film schools, places that's going to really fervently prepare you, schools, great secondary schools that have the opportunities to prepare you. It all just kind of goes back to our why and what is the true purpose of our calling. Why are we in this work? What does that look like for us? What do we really care about?
Right, and that's one of the things that you have to know if you're an aspiring entrepreneur or content creator. One thing that you have to know is, what is your why? What is the reason that you do what you do for a living? You have to have a sense of purpose, because that's what's going to drive you to keep going. No matter the setbacks or the challenges that you experience, that's your why is going to drive you. Your why is going to keep you going. So that leads me into my next question. What would you say is your why? What is your reasoning behind what do you do with the Stellar 19 Foundation?
I just don't want another student to go through what I went through. I mean, we talked about it, multiple colleges, multiple schools that I've been to throughout the community. It's just whether private, public, charter, homeschool, been there, done it. So I can tell you my experience as a student. And then to go into my role as a teacher, I can tell you how that feels like from a teacher perspective, which I can't really go, I don't want to go deep into that. That's actually in my book that's coming out soon. But
stay tuned for that.
Yeah. But it's just pretty much talking about the pressures that you go through as an educator or with any workplace. Mm-hmm. Pressures from leadership, pressures from the people around you, just really how you get to a point where you may have a why, but you end up questioning your why. You have to re-question why you are in the space that you're in.
Right. And that takes time to discover your why. It isn't just an obvious answer. It may take months or even years to discover your purpose behind what you do. I mean, for me as an entrepreneur, I'm still trying to figure out my why, my reasoning behind what I do for a living. And, that's very important to have, like I mentioned, just, trying to stay motivated and trying to stay positive in spite of the challenges, because you're going to have challenges as an entrepreneur. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, newsflash, you're going to have challenges. There's going to be people that don't understand what you do. There's going to be critics. You're going to have naysayers. You're going to have doubters, but you have to have something to help you look past all of that
And then too, kind of noticing the difference between, we talked about this a lot too. I kind of separate what life puts you through versus from what people put you through. If I'm on my way to work and a train is coming and the train delays me from getting to work at a certain time, well, that's not anything anybody can control. That's Godspeed. That's an act of God. That's just something that happens.
That's just circumstance.
If I'm on my way to work and I have a flat tire, if I'm on my way to work and I run out of gas, these are things that you don't really look into, but you can't really, control things like that. You do have an ability to fix the situation ahead of time, but you just never really know what you'll run into. But nobody's controlling that. But if you're at a business and someone's rolling their eyes at you at the front desk, if you're having to take through X, Y, and Z by this one person because they don't like what you do, if you have someone who's working with you just to get beneath you to take the information that they've learned under you to go and try and replicate what you're doing, that's crazy.
It's like they're taking away something from you in a way. Yeah. Creating your own opportunities, not having to rely on someone else to, just setting your own table.
I had to create my own opportunities.
And that's what the Stella 19 Foundation is all about.
Yes, and it allows me to create opportunities for other people. And one of the things that I love about Stella U is the fact that, many businesses start in one name or another. But some, they get all this money, they get reference or whatever helps them, and they fall out of their authenticity. And I feel like for me, I want to remain authentic to the people that are working with me, the people that's working under me, and the people, that I'm going to be working with in the future, that the company itself is going to be working with in the future. And so many of my staff, if not all of them, will tell you in a heartbeat that they know that I believe in them. They know that my presence is everywhere with them to the best of my ability. They know that they can call me if they need me. We're all in it together in what we're trying to do. We're invested in the work that we're doing because we believe in the most important part for why we're together, our students, preparing the next generation to really go out and soar and know that they have all the tools, answers, and resources that they need in order to be successful.
Yeah, and I just want to commend you on taking on such a great task. You're molding, you're helping shape the future of this country, future leaders, future entrepreneurs, future businessmen, doctors, lawyers, congressmen, women, you name it. You're helping shape the next generation. And I just want to commend you for doing it because that's not easy. That's not easy. You're just balancing all of that. You have students who don't want to cooperate, don't want to take initiative, and you have to kind of help them, see what they're going through, see what their issues are, and, just help them get on the right path. And
what's so funny is that I didn't mean to interrupt you, but education is the most underrated field ever because we believe, this is not a shot to other careers. Yes, doctors are important. Yes, lawyers are important. But your teachers are important because you just never know who's sitting in your classroom. You don't know who's going to be. Out of the birth of education comes your doctors, your lawyers, your community advisors, your community activists, your engineers, scientists, whatever. All of the social media content, it comes from education.
Right.
It comes from being educated and acquiring new knowledge. And to do that, one of the most important fields of study that puts you in a position of acquiring knowledge, whether by instruction or whether by learning, is education. So we prepare everybody. Pretty much. It's just like almost like a factory pump. And you're pushing these people out and they're going to different fields and different studies.
It's like you're setting a foundation for them.
They have the foundation. And the most important foundation for me is definitely going to be that reading, writing, and math, because you definitely need all of that in order to survive. And with this pandemic and everything, it has really caused a shift to where we're really struggling with that. And that's one of our biggest projects that we're working on right now in schools is fluency and being able to help students revitalize those skills in reading, writing, and mathematics.
Yeah. I mean, and especially helpful to have a team that's united towards a common goal. Especially when it comes to taking on a big task like educating the future. when you have people who are willing to work with you, united towards a common goal of helping the future, that's valuable. That's something that can take you a long way, because if you're just doing everything by yourself, and you have no one to help you out, it's very difficult. Yeah. All right, so that's all for today. I know this was a pretty brief interview. This was just the first of many interviews, hopefully. So if you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, click the subscribe button, and also be safe. And if no one told you, you matter and you were put on this earth to make a difference.